fist on one hand and your other hand over your wrist. It is important that your knees are bent. You want your knees bent so that you can't see your toes. If you're standing like this and you can look down and see your toes, it's not a good horse stance. Bend those knees so you can't see your toes. Also, look how, if you use these lines, look how close my feet are together. Okay? I'm tall and this is a little bit too short of a stance for me. Alright? So, but most of you should not be wider than a half of a longa in your horse stance. Okay? The next stance is front stance. Put one foot back, one foot in front, hands up off to the side. Bend that knee, the front knee, so you cannot see your toes. If you can see your toes, you're not in a good front stance. What it looks like from the side is this. You'll notice that both my feet are on this line. My toes are not pointing straight like I'm on a balance beam. My toes are at an angle, but one foot is directly behind the other. The next stance is cat stance. So for that one, I'm just going to come up on my toe, and I'm going to have my hands up like this. Again, the front knee is bent. From the side, it looks like this. It's easiest to practice cat stance by starting in the front stance, sliding back into cat stance. Front stance, cat stance. I can't remember if I already said it, but for front stance, going back to front stance, notice how my feet are not this far apart. Alright, if you are shorter than me, your stance should be no bigger than this. It might even need to be a little bit closer together. Alright, but I don't want giant stances because it makes it difficult to move. Shoe tie stance, you're kneeling down. Hands should be up. Notice my heel and my knee are close together. The reason is it makes it easier to stand up. Right? If my feet are this far apart, it's a lot harder and I'm a lot slower to stand up. So heel and knee need to be close to each other. The last stance is tornado stance. Tornado stance, you want your hands down like this. Alright? If you can get close to the ground and on your forearms, great. But if you need to, your forearms can be a little bit off the ground. I don't want you like this though. Alright? So you're here and you're looking up so that you can see what's going on. This stance is a stance